So what does it really take to build 10 schools all around the world? I'll tell you right now, it's not just about bricks and mortar. Today, we're going to break down the incredible, multi-layered strategy behind this project, one that turns simple charity into a sustainable plan for changing entire communities. Let's dive in.
Okay, so every huge mission like this, it kind of starts with a single defining number. For this one, that number is 200 million. It's so big, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. But this number, this is the whole reason this project even had to happen.
That's what it is. 200 million kids who don't have a safe place to learn. And we're not just talking about missing out on an education. We're talking about daily risks, danger, and a truly staggering loss of human potential on a global scale.
So when you're faced with a number that massive, where do you even start? How do you begin to fix a problem that big? Well, the answer isn't just building a few schools and calling it a day. It's about designing a whole system. And the strategy we're about to unpack, it goes so much deeper than you'd think.
First things first, you got to understand the reality on the ground. This isn't just about a lack of schools, it's a full-blown infrastructure crisis, where the simple act of showing up to class is a genuine hazard. And these aren't just hypotheticals. I mean, in Ghana, one school was so dangerous the government had officially condemned it. In Ecuador, classrooms would literally flood knee-deep with water. And the sound of rain on the tin roofs was so deafening that it made teaching impossible. This stuff goes way beyond being an inconvenience. It's a total barrier to learning.
So, with that as the problem, the mission becomes crystal clear. Build 10 brand new, totally safe, modern schools. The goal wasn't just to patch things up, it was a complete transformation of the learning environment for these kids.
And wow, this shift is it's night and day, isn't it? You go from learning in fear to learning with dignity. This visual says it all. You're moving from a building that's literally about to fall down to a modern structure designed to last for generations. This physical change is the foundation for everything else that's coming.
But this is where the strategy gets really smart. The team behind this understood that a shiny new building, on its own, doesn't solve the whole problem. They took a holistic approach, looking at all the deeper issues that were holding these communities back.
And here it is. This is the core blueprint, broken down into 4 parts. First, clean water, because, sick kids can't learn. Second, daily nutrition. Hungry kids can't focus. Simple as that. Third, you've got direct support for teachers and students, tackling their specific needs. And finally, safer infrastructure, because sometimes just getting to school is the most dangerous part of the day. It's a strategy that looks at the entire ecosystem of education.
And check this out. This is what that strategy actually looked like in the real world. They put in new wells in Ghana, which stopped kids from getting sick from contaminated river water. They built kitchens to provide lunches for years to come. In Mexico, they gave a principal who'd been working out of her car for a decade an actual office. In Ecuador, they replaced a rickety, dangerous wooden bridge with a sturdy metal one. Every single action was a targeted solution.
This quote just perfectly captures the whole spirit of the project. It wasn't about checking off a list. It was about making a deep, real, and sustainable investment in people's futures.
All right, so what happens when you actually do all this? When you put a strategy this comprehensive in play? Well, let's look at the ripple effect. You can see it in the numbers, and you can definitely see it in the human stories.
First, the financial side. The total investment was over $3 million. That figure alone tells you just how serious this commitment was.
And that investment is set to directly impact the education of over 18,000 students over the life of these schools. That's a whole lot of futures changed. And here is the hard data to back it all up. Remember that daily nutrition pillar? Well, by starting a school meal program, attendance shot up by 10%. And it was still going up. That free lunch wasn't just a nice to have, it was a strategic move that got more kids into the classroom. It worked. But the impact creates these amazing ripple effects. A safe school means kids are less likely to get pulled into illegal labor. Clean water improves the health of the entire community. Supporting teachers means they stick around longer. Every single investment creates its own positive feedback loop. It's incredible.
And man, this exchange with the principal in Mexico, it just grounds all that data in something so real and human. For 10 years, she ran an entire school from her car, and now she has a space that respects her role and gives her dignity. That's an impact you just can't measure on a spreadsheet.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? Well, what we're looking at here isn't just a one-time charitable act. It's a potential blueprint for a whole new way of thinking about philanthropy and development. And what makes this blueprint so powerful is how adaptable it is. This was not a one-size-fits-all solution. The support was specifically tailored to what each community actually needed, whether it was building a school on stilts to avoid flooding in the Amazon or creating an outdoor learning center for neurodivergent students right here in the US. Same strategy, but the execution was totally flexible.
And really, this final quote just says it all. The goal was never a quick, short-term fix. It was about creating infrastructure and support systems that will be there for these communities for decades, for generations.
So I'll leave you with this one big question to think about. What happens when we stop just building things and we start investing in the entire ecosystem of education? Well, the answer seems pretty clear. You get a deeper, more lasting, and a much more meaningful kind of change.